Hello and welcome to Arsenal Analysed. I'm JC. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I bring you tactical analysis of Arsenal versus Brighton. 2 defeats on the bounce in what is a vital part of the season for Arsenal. But nevertheless, we'll be breaking it all down. And if you do go on to enjoy today's video, a like would be super appreciated. And if you're new around here, why not consider subscribing, as it massively helps me out. But let's waste no more time at all and have a little look at what we'll be covering in today's video. Kicking off with the starting lineup and subs, followed by looking at the stats, heat maps and shape of Arsenal and Brighton. Then we'll go a little deeper, analyse the goals and tactics implemented by Mikel Arteta and Graham Potter, some player analysis, and then to finish up, some shout-outs. But let's dive into that starting lineup. So Arsenal, a few surprises in there. Firstly, Granit Xhaka at left back. I think most were expecting Tavares to play there. Sambi was an obvious one for Thomas Partey, but another that did surprise me was Smith Rowe playing as a number 8, not a role he's often played for the senior Arsenal team. Now, we will talk system here for the first time during this series, and the main reason for that is Granit Xhaka, when Arsenal were in possession, did push into midfield, and I think that was to support Sambi Lokonga. Bit surprised that wasn't the case from the word go. Arsenal looked more like a back 3 when in possession, especially in more advanced positions. And Smith Rowe playing in that number 8 for me was a bit of a surprise because he hasn't played there too often. And the only other senior player in midfield to support Sambi and Smith Rowe was Odegaard. So for me, it was an experiment that Arteta went with that he shouldn't have gone with. He should have gone with Tavares at left back, in my opinion. And he should have played Xhaka instead of Smith Rowe alongside Sambi, offering that support at the base of midfield. And I think pretty much the rest of the lineup picks itself, given who is fit. Another surprise for me was the fact that Arteta didn't go with using all 3 substitutions to try and change the game, especially as we were looking to chase this result in what already mentioned is a vital part of the season. Bringing off Smith Rowe for Nketiah and Martinelli for Pepe. No real surprises there. Nketiah more of an attacking threat compared to Smith Rowe. While Smith Rowe is very good going forward, Nketiah is a second striker that played alongside Lacazette. But too many poor decisions for me in this particular game. Let me know your comments down below. What were your thoughts with the system, the personnel, and the changes? Now, what I just mentioned in terms of system is further highlighted in the passing shape of Arsenal. As we can see here, we've got Arsenal's 3 defenders in Ben White, Gabriel and Cedric playing in a back 3 with Sambi Lokonga playing just in front, which is typically where Thomas Partey would play. And then we've got Granit Xhaka in more of an advanced position as the so-called left back, but often supporting in midfield, which typically in Arsenal shapes would contribute to some very good wide rotations. However, Arsenal did seem to play very narrow against Brighton, something we also did against Crystal Palace. I'm not too sure why Arteta has decided to look to play a more narrow system in our last 2 games, considering a lot of what Arsenal have done well since sort of back end of January where we went on that run. A lot of what we've done well was high and wide. And whilst we see Martinelli and Saka probably the furthest 2 players forward for Arsenal, they're far too narrow for me. And where we did have success is where we had Granit Xhaka and Martin Odegaard playing as those narrow number 8s, contributing to those wide rotations where they're respective wide partners in Cedric or Saka on the right and Kieran Tierney, or in this case, it should have been Tavares and Martinelli on the left. And again, like we always see, Lacazette playing quite deep. And this is mirrored by our heat map. A lot of what is deep red is very, very narrow and through the middle. And I know that Brighton often play with a back 3 or have wing backs that sit quite deep, but I still think that those diagonals would have really, really hurt Brighton, a team that have lost, well, I think 4 of their last 5 before yesterday. So there was a real opportunity to beat and get at Brighton. They haven't lost a game or won a game since February 12th, I think. And the last 2 games now, Arsenal have had high possession percentages as well. This game, 65%. I think the previous game, it was 69%. We've registered 20 shots at goal. I think we hit the bar twice in the second half. is not signing a striker coming to bite us in the backside from January, even if it was on loan. I did mention this in my Palace video, but Lacazette, again, very much a player gone missing. And I think Palace have really kind of shown the rest of the Premier League a template on how to kind of really cancel him out of the game, stopping him from dropping in deep and allowing those wide players to get in behind, which is what Arsenal have done so well. But as I said, with Arsenal playing so narrow, we really didn't help ourselves in this particular game. So having a look at the goals from Arsenal versus Brighton, another frustration of mine was in picture number 1 here. We can see Arsenal's back three clearly, and we can see the Granit Xhaka position. As mentioned, he was playing quite a high supporting in midfield. And the odd thing here is in more of an advanced position than Smith Rowe and Sambi Lokonga. But you've got Arsenal's back three there. Gabriel playing as more of a left centre-back, Ben White in the centre, and then Cedric. But what really frustrates me is where the ball has come from. Look how deep this ball has been played from Brighton. Very, very similar to the first goal that Arsenal conceded against Crystal Palace. And we're allowing this to happen far too often, with Granit Xhaka being caught out of position. And then if we look at picture number 3, nobody is picking up Trossard here, making that late run into the box. We can see here, this is where the ball is. The ball comes in to this space. He probably can't believe his luck with the amount of space he finds himself in as the ball enters the edge of the box. And these two Arsenal players here, which I believe is Smith Rowe and Martinelli, they should be getting back. They should be looking to get into this space here and providing support, because Arsenal are clearly outnumbered. And you can't even see Granit Xhaka in this picture. And he was down as a left back. So, as I mentioned, the experiment that Arteta went with, which he did decide to change at half-time, it really didn't work. And it's not something that I would have been looking to do in what was a vital game, considering we'd just lost to Palace. Picture number 3 is Brighton's second goal. We can see here Arsenal. There are 3 players sat on the edge of the box, all sort of being drawn towards the ball, not keeping one eye over the shoulder in case that ball does end up coming to the edge of the box, which unfortunately is exactly where it ends up. Everywhere else in picture number 3, though, you can see here there are 3 Arsenal players around the ball, as well as the player here. And then even at the back post, or the more central area, there are 3 players marking 2 Brighton players. So generally speaking, those positions there are fairly strong. We're in a more advantageous position now. But it's these 3 players on the edge of the box, Martinelli, Lacazette, and Martin Odegaard, who should have been keeping one eye over the shoulder at these Brighton players, which is exactly where the ball ends up. And that is highlighted in picture number 3. By the time they eventually turn around and realise where the danger is, it's too late. And the ball goes through a body of Arsenal on Brighton players. And Aaron Ramsdale getting beating at his near post yet again. But you can give him the benefit of the doubt on this occasion, just simply because of how many players are in the way between the vision of the ball and the ball hitting the back of the net. So 2-0 at this point. And then we're going to have a little look at Arsenal's goal. I think this is probably a really easy one to analyse. A little bit too late, in my opinion. This came in the 89th minute, and it's where I felt Arsenal finally turned up. And it should have been after half-time that Arsenal turned up. There was a big turning point, or what could have been a very, very big turning point, had Arsenal's goal stood just before half-time, which we'll get into in just a moment. But yeah, really easy one to analyse here. Martin Odegaard decides to hit the ball from about, 35 yards. It takes a fortuitous deflection off of the player here, and it loops over Sanchez and goes into the back of the net. But as I said, this was in the 89th minute, and then there were 6 minutes added on, and Arsenal really did push to try and get that equaliser. Nketiah went close. Great save from Sanchez. And I think I already mentioned it as well. Arsenal, prior to this chance, literally, I think 5 minutes before this chance, Arsenal hit the bar twice. Martin Odegaard from the free kick and then the follow-up. So Arsenal having plenty of chances to get something out of this game. But the one really, really frustrating thing is the VAR decision before half-time. I don't want to go into it in too much detail because the pictures didn't really reflect the decision. The decision was given offside, but it was so tight, like so tight. It took 4 minutes for the officials to make a decision. We can see here in picture number 3, the 2 lines that were drawn to given the goal as offside, which are absolutely ridiculous. How on earth you can see it's offside from that angle is beyond me. And then picture number 4, a slightly more zoomed in version of the decision that was eventually made. But as said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Was it the right call? Was it the wrong call? Should we be relying on VAR to win games? Let me know in the comments down below. And we're going to have a quick look at the players from yesterday's game. Not necessarily players that stood out for me. I think Martin Odegaard particularly had a good game. Bukayo Saka, 5 key passes or 6 key passes against Brighton. So there were a couple of okay or slightly better performances from the Brighton game. But the reason I've highlighted these 3 is because these were the 3 players I felt Arteta decided to go with the experiment with. As mentioned, Granit started the game as left back and then eventually moved into more of a central midfield position, playing as a sort of second central midfield player alongside Sambi Lokonga, sort of like a double pivot, if you will, hence the heat map showing majority of his movement on that left-hand side, with Martinelli playing as, well, pretty much a left wing back for the majority of the second half. But Granit Xhaka, 94% passing, 1 key pass, 1 assist, 2 long balls completed out of 3, 2 duels out of 5 completed. And it does seem as though Arsenal were looking to implement the type of balls that Thomas Partey is very, very good at doing. Deep balls, long balls, diagonals, where we've got the likes of Bukayo Saka and Martinelli in so often, where we've played high and wide. And this is what I don't understand. It definitely feels like that was part of the plan against Brighton, but we were playing very narrow. And this is further confirmed by the fact that Sambi Lokonga had completed 4 out of 6 long balls, 1 key pass, 86% passing completion rate, 4 duels, 1 out of 9, and 1 tackle. So Sambi left alone in midfield. I do feel that Granit Xhaka should have played alongside him. And then last but not least, Emile Smith-Rowe over the last couple of months just hasn't seemed the same player. I don't know if it's the system that he's playing in. I don't know if it's the left back that's supporting him when he's playing as a winger. But we can see here, looking at his heat map, not very busy. 72% passing accuracy, 1 key pass, no dribbles completed, no crosses completed, and 2 out of 6 duels won. I just feel as though that Smith-Rowe is being played out of position or being played in a role that doesn't suit his strengths. Obviously, he's going to play. It's minutes in the pocket and, well, match fitness as well, because he hasn't played 90 minutes for quite some time. Again, being taken off yesterday around just over the hour mark. So I think Arteta, he's got a lot to think about, especially with Kieran Tierney out for this season. Granit Xhaka, for me, shouldn't be playing left back. Tavares should be playing there. And Granit Xhaka should be playing alongside Sambi in midfield. And I don't feel as though Smith-Rowe should be playing as a number 8. A lot of Arsenal fans saying that maybe Smith-Rowe should play there long term. But for me, over the last couple of games, just doesn't suit his strengths. And he's much, much more effective and dangerous out wide. Rotations with Martinelli giving Arteta a bit of a headache. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with regards to these 3 players and the experiment that Arteta went with against Brighton. Finally, to finish up, we've got a few shout outs for those of you who did comment on the preview video and preview post over on Twitter. Tim going 2-0, Tumakunde going 2-0, Jethro going 3-0, mostly Arsenal going 2-0, and last but not least, Judge going 3-0. I went 3-0 as well. All Arsenal fans went with a win, and unfortunately, none of us got it right. So thank you very much for commenting. And if you do want to feature in a future Arsenal video, all you need to do is comment on the next preview video. So that is going to about wrap things up for today's video. Not the result that we wanted, leaving Arsenal with a lot of work to do, unfortunately. But can we really bounce back against Southampton in our next game in the coming weekend fixture? Will Arteta go with another experiment? Your guess is as good as mine. Thank you for watching. Drop a like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're around about 85, 90 subs away from 1,300. Really, really do appreciate the support of late. So drop a sub if you're new. But I'm JC, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay safe and take care.